My name is Dion, and from DQ Labs, I look into a couple of things here. One is making sure that the right information is given to you at all times. Looking into outreach programs, which is our outreach with schools or design schools or any of the new projects that we take. All right, with creating with the initial introduction of this program. So I was wondering how to put it across. Now, I think everyone's seen this. Are you all able to see this image? Oh, okay. You all will have to move a little bit. Yeah. All right. So has everyone seen this image? Right. So this is something that has caught your eye. So I thought, let me break this up into elements and explain to you what each part means. So the first part, you see a girl here, and the tagline is, don't let your creativity remain a hobby, right? What does creativity mean to each one of you? You can answer. Singing, creativity, coming up with something new, of course, being innovation, yes, absolutely, yeah. So creativity is, doing things that you enjoy, something that gratifies you, right? Hobby. What is a hobby? Sit. Yeah. Something that you do in your free time. Absolutely. Yeah. You'd like to spend time on that. A lot of people like to spend money on hobbies, right? I've got this little piece here. What do y'all think this is? Lego? Yeah. Someone said Lego. What is unique about this Lego piece? I don't think you'll guess it, but I'll tell you anyway. What is unique about this is that this is the only piece of this kind in the world, right? It is 100% designed by Sean. The parts, Sean is the founder of DQ Labs, right? He's very passionate about Lego, right? It's his hobby. He's designed this. He's used Lego CAD to design this. He sourced these parts from 3 different countries, the US, Denmark, and UK, to create this, right? It's the only piece in the world. Now, he's willing to spend his time, energy, and money in developing this hobby, right? Now, the next aspect is, what is a career, right? Anyone else? Yeah. Okay. Sorry? Deciding your future. Yes, of course. What pays for your hobbies? Okay. So career is something that you do, a skill that you have, which you get paid for, right? Now, that is the base of this. So we want creativity. And the idea is that we are trying to figure out, how do we make a hobby or creativity something that we enjoy? How do we make that into a career, right? And that's really why we have something called the Design Exploration Program, all right? Or DEEP, what we call it. Now, the idea is to create an immersive experience to understand creativity in different forms, in different ways, and learn through projects, through actually creating, through actually doing, right? So that's what the Design Exploration Program is about. It's just an overview. The details will come by Sean and Umesh in the next part of the session. Okay. Now, if we break it up further, it is for grades 7 to 12, right? Why grades 7 to 12? Number one, this age group, they want to have fun, right? They're exploring their fun side, but they're also looking at options, right? Choices. What choices do I have? I can take science, I can take commerce, I can take arts, right? There are various choices, but you also need to make decisions, right? I, I need to decide, I need to figure out whether I should be, I'm interested in X, Y, and Z aspects, but what should I make my career in, right? Based on that, I choose my subjects in school. So it's it's specifically catered to this age group, right? Um, right. Now, the next aspect is this program is designed by IITians, right? So what? What do IITians have to contribute? Are IITians even designers, right? And that's really what takes me to the next aspect, which is to introduce our team, right? We have Umesh. He's an architect and a designer from IIT Delhi, right? So IIT has engineering programs and they have design programs as well, right? So that's what he is. He's worked in design studios like Jaguar Land Rover and General Motors and all the projects, a lot of the major projects. And he's passionate about travel, right? He loves travel. He's traveled to over 30 countries and he's created or curated experiential tours. He's clubbed his passion for design, his passion for travel, and he's created or curated experiential design and architecture tours, right? And this is to countries like Italy or France and all these rich cultural places of cultural heritage. Now, I'm just showing you how passion can turn into a career, right? Similarly, Sean, right? Sean too is a designer. He's an engineer and a designer from IIT Delhi. He's a Lego enthusiast, like I showed you. This is what he's created, all right? He's a licensed scuba diver and he's very passionate about photography. He's also traveled to Norway, Tromsø to take photographs of the Northern Lights, right? Right. Now, that's on their personal front. But what does that mean to y'all, right? Now, here what's happened is we do research as well. Our area of research is called learning design, which means if you have to learn something, how should that be taught, right? It's a methodology of teaching. Now, that is not for y'all, it's more to understand that we do research in this area and our research has been presented at Singapore, okay? And we've also filed a patent, right? We've applied for a patent. So the training system that's been designed for you through this program, it's a well thought out, well structured program, right? And this has also got us awards, right? We've won the 2019 Design Award from NASSCOM. It's called the Design for India Award. In 2021, we won the CII Design Excellence Awards, all right? In 2021, we were also recognized, we were a finalist, we didn't win, but we were the finalists in the UK E-Assessment Award, right? And some of the areas which make us unique is the multi-dimensional MCQ, which most of y'all will not be experiencing, but the social learning aspect, that is something where all of us will learn, right? So through our project, what our students would be doing, all the creative work they do, they will upload onto a platform and they will see each other's work, right? And that is learning from each other or social learning. That's a very unique aspect that we have created and that defines us, right? Apart from this, we run something called the Design Hackathon, which is an all India level design competition for kids, all right, for kids from class 8 to 12. And it's one of India's largest hackathons. It is India's largest hackathon for school kids, design hackathons. We do it along with Confederation of Indian Industry. Have you all heard of CII, Confederation of Indian Industry, right? So it's a very prestigious collaboration that we have, right? Very difficult to collaborate with them, but they've seen what we've done. They've given us an award, and that's why they said, okay, you guys are doing something very different, and that's why we are collaborating, right? Now, they are also supported by a team, right? So Sean and Umesh have entire teams for me for the awareness. Velu, who handles the sketching, material handling aspects, all right? And we have Meghna, who handles the aptitude aspect, right? And then we have over 20 design faculty, all graduates from NIDs, NIFTs, IITs. Aishwarya's there. Aishwarya's a graduate from NIFT, Bangalore, right? She runs a design, a fashion design firm called Pomegranate, which has been featured a lot in magazines, and she's won awards as well. So we have, these are the type of faculty that we have that are mentoring all the students here, right? Right. So that's my part of the introduction, and I thought that's where I'll end. So I'm just setting the base for today's discussion to know who you're interacting with, and from now we'll hand it over to Umesh.
A very good morning for all of you. Thank you for coming over here. And for the next probably 1.5 or 2.5 hours, so we are going to share some very interesting information that probably you would not have got exposed to. Any designers or architects here? Or anybody in the creative profession? Any fashion designers? All right, so any of your friends or relatives being architects? Okay, all right, so you would have spent some time with them, so you would know how they work, what they do, creative minds, different offset. I mean, they think differently. So let me just pull up my presentation. Okay, so when I was working in the industry, I came to know about design, and I started to study design when I was like 26 years old, right? So when I was 21, I finished my architecture. For 3 years, I practiced. While practicing, I came to know that there are certain areas where I need to equip myself. Like, for example, I was able to, as an architect, I was able to design spaces and etc. But when it comes to the accessories or certain products within the space, I was not able to design them. And I was very much restricted to the stuff that is available in the market. Like, for example, my first project was a jukebox. Those times, 1999s, 2000s, we had these CDs, cassettes, right? So all the parents would know those. Children, they would be wondering what are those, right? So in fact, we used to have special shops for selling these CDs and cassettes. In fact, cassettes, CDs came little later, right? So my first project was designing a music shop where we sell cassettes and all of that. And that space, I have designed it as a futuristic spaceship, right? So we got it constructed using, that time, because I was not aware, we used wood as a material, plywood as a material, we bended it, and we got very nice, interesting, free-flowing forms inside it. But when it came to the lighting, okay, of course, we had used the diffuser lighting and all of that, but when it came to the accessories, we were limited with all these decorative kind of accessories, right, which would not suit into that environment. And when it came to the small objects like knobs, handles, and other stuff, again, we were limited. And I was like wondering, okay, how do I kind of get this stuff? There are two options. Either I can manufacture myself. Small quantity does not make sense. Or probably I'll have to travel to Delhi and source it from some kind of a market and get them there. But nevertheless, what I have observed is probably the need of upgrading myself. And that is the reason after my bachelor's of architecture, I have gone to do my master's. And after doing my master's, I never thought that I will be getting into automotive industry, right? So I was envisioning myself as an architect, designing of spaces and all of that, buildings and all of that. But then After finishing my 2 years in IIT Delhi, I got a campus placement along with Sean, my classmate, in General Motors, automotive industry. So I had no idea of what automotive industry was all about. And in fact, when I joined there, I didn't have a four-wheeler license. When joining an automotive company without a four-wheeler license. But anyway, my journey has started like that. So that has taken me to places abroad. I had worked in the global automotive design studios. So what I'm trying to tell is, when I was working in the Jaguar Land Rover design studio, what I've noticed is my contemporaries, my peers with which I am working, they were like 7 years younger to me, right? And I was starting my career at 28, right? And there's a huge difference in terms of the skills as well. So students abroad, when they come to the industry, they are already equipped with all the necessary skills. They know what they are doing. They are very, very focused. They have got the skills. And when we are Indians, like, okay, when we do, in India, they say, okay, bachelor is not enough, you have to do masters. So it's like a 7-year planning that you do, which is not required, right? So, but there's lack of exposure. So because of this lack of exposure, there is a very good talent in India, but because of lack of exposure, the talent is getting lost. And that is the same feeling even my partner Sean had. He was working with General Motors. And we thought, okay, come, let's give some kind of an exposure to the students. And that is how, in fact, DQ Labs has started. And this particular program, Design Exploration Program, is specifically meant for the young children, like from grade 8 to grade 12. Those who are basically very good in artwork or sketching works, or if you check their notebooks, they are full of doodles, and if they check their desks, full of doodles, and walls spoiled with doodles and whatever, right? So we wanted to basically catch hold of that kind of creative people and give them exposure. And that is how the program has started. And the next slide. Yeah. Now, in fact, you have to congratulate yourselves, because your children are going into a very, very exciting career, which has fantastic, bright future. All right. Now, why I say that is because, if you can just go to the next slide. I mean, these are all my peers. All right, my peers, my juniors. Okay. Only one person is my senior, just one year senior to me. Now, these guys are leading industry in the design world, and they are holding the positions of like design heads, presidents, etc. of the design departments. They all must be in 40s. Okay, my juniors must be in 30s, like, all right. But what is happening is, see, if you want to become a president of a company or head of a department in a company and etc., you need to have 15 years, 20 years of experience, and then so many credentials and etc., right? But these guys, they have basic BArch, BDes, MDes degrees, no PhDs, no MBAs, nothing. But they are heading very responsible positions in companies. All right, and why is that happening is because especially if you look into the Indian context, all right, so design is it's at a very nascent stage. Okay, so very nascent stage means probably like 20-25 years old. That's all, right? And industry requires specialized talent for leading these roles. And there are no top people. I mean, there are no people above 50 who can lead the kind of a department, right? So that is the reason youngsters are getting this kind of opportunities. In fact, the first person is Pranav Mistry. He is my contemporary. I was studying in IIT Delhi and he was in IIT Bombay, right? So he was the global vice president of Samsung. All the Samsung devices that you see, right from phones to refrigerators and etc., he is the guy who is heading. He was heading the department. Now he has stepped out and he is working with Meta and other companies. All right. So, and the next person is Satya Seelan. All right. He is the head of Ashok Leyland, design head of Ashok Leyland. And every vehicle that comes out of Ashok Leyland, he is the guy who has designed them or stylized them, right? So similarly, I mean, the point here is you are entering into a design world where there are exciting stuff that are happening. And people even with experience are a little clueless what's going to happen next. Next slide. You all would have heard about Chat GPT and DALL-E and Midjourney and all of these softwares, AI tools. How many of you have heard of them? Right. Chat GPT. Okay. So in fact, they say that nowadays every board meeting starts with Chat GPT, discussion on Chat GPT, and ends with Chat GPT, because it has completely changed the scenario, right? And there are certain tools relevant for design world that are also kind of causing a lot of buzz. Okay, for example, DALL-E 2. Now, what DALL-E 2 does is basically you input the words, okay, as parameters. You input the words and it gives beautiful outputs. Like for example, now let us say avocado, okay, avocado chair for children, etc. And it starts giving you a lot of ideas of how that avocado chair can look like, right? And not just that, but let us say you want to create some fan art, or you want to create some characters or some environments, etc. You just have to give those prompts. These are called as prompts, text to image prompts. All right. So you give those prompts and it gives outstanding results, visualizations. Now, initially everybody got really scared. Oh, what will happen to the creative profession? They will lose jobs. What is the future of graphic design in general, and etc. But those who are in the profession can understand the limitations of these tools. Now, these are like tools. You understand a tool, like a brush is a tool. Now you can brush your teeth with a finger, but having a tool helps you, right? A simple brush. Now the technology has increased and you have these mechanical brushes, okay, which vibrates, right? So these are only tools. They're not going to replace the person who is trying to use those tools themselves, okay? In fact, we have text to image is there, text to video is also there. All right, so what it does is basically you give some prompts saying a teddy bear swimming in a pool, and it will generate a video actually showing a teddy bear swimming in a pool. All right, so that is the kind of technological advancements that are happening, and that gives us unlimited possibilities in terms of imagination. Right now, those tools can be used as ideation tools, right? Which will basically increases the boundaries of your thinking. Okay? Right. Now, would like to say some other exciting news that is happening currently in DQ Labs. Okay, of course, DQ Labs has been there since 2016. And over the years, we have built so many systems, faculties, procedures, and etc. And we have been guiding students. And these are certain highlights which are very, very exciting for us as a company, as DQ Labs. Recently, 10 plus students got into IITs for BDS. Do you know that IITs have got BDS program, Bachelor's of Design program, and you don't have to write IIT JEE paper 1. Okay, if you want to get into the design department in IITs, there is a separate exam called as USEED. And that is in fact one of the toughest exams of all the creative exams. All right. And of course, the number of seats are also limited, especially for general category. There are like 70 seats for general category. Out of that, 10 students have gone from DQ Labs. Right. So that's a fantastic achievement we are very proud of. Okay. And almost 200 plus students got placed in design schools. Those who are just passed out 12th, more than 200 students got into design schools all across India, not only in India but also abroad. Okay, there are some exciting schools in abroad as well. And one of the interesting news is Pragya Dikshit from DQ Labs. She has secured $100,000 scholarship for a 4-year program in masters in US. Bachelor's in US. Okay, and there is Diya Bali. She has secured $80,000 US dollars scholarship for fashion design. And have you heard of Met Gala? Anyone heard of Met Gala? Okay, Met Gala is organized by which institute? There's a fashion institute which organizes Met Gala. New York Fashion Technology. Okay, and Diya Bali got admission in that particular school. And just imagine the kind of opportunities that open up for her. she'll be working with celebrities. She has access to celebrity designers and etc. Right? So that's an exciting news. And Tejas Mitra has got secured a $70,000 scholarship for 4-year Bachelor's of Design Studies in Art Center. Now, Art Center is one of the top colleges in the US. It's very difficult to get admission in the first place. Right? In generally for design school, what happens is there is a first year is called as a foundation program. Okay, irrespective of the design discipline you get into, everybody does the foundation program and they will be taught fundamentals. Now, Art Center is one of very exclusive colleges where there is no foundation program. That means any student who is joining will directly get into deep dive into the coursework. Right? So getting admission in there is very difficult, and he not only got admission, but he also secured $70,000 scholarship. Okay, so these are some of the exciting things that are just happening in this month. So I thought I will share with you guys. Some success stories of the past. All right, many parents have some kind of an apprehension that design means okay, some afterthought, some kind of a painting on wall or something like that, and they don't have future. Right? But absolutely wrong. If you are doing design from a premier institute like IIT or NID, like for example, Darren Lobo, he got, I think, rank 6. He was with DQ Labs. He got rank 6. He got admitted in IIT Bombay, and now he's out of IIT Bombay and he has got a salary package of 25 lakhs per annum. Right? Next is Madhu Priyanka. So she got into NID, National Institute of Design, and she is currently getting about 40 lakhs annum kind of a salary package. Now, why are companies paying so much money for somebody who just sits and sketches? What is the reason? What is the magic? Right? Next slide. So why do this industry require people who do those doodles and spoil the books and walls and all of that, right? So there is a reason. Right, so for that we need to deep dive and understand what design is in the first place. Okay, so Sean, my partner, my classmate, my business partner for last I don't know how many years, 20 years. We were classmates in IIT Delhi also. See, he's gonna deep dive into design and he'll gonna explain you on that. But your journey begins now with the design exploration program, right? So in this program, you will be exposed to what design is, how designers think, what designers do, how to ideate, and you will also have visits to the schools. I think if you can, you'll have visits to the schools and you'll be mentored by professional designers. Okay, in fact, the entire program has been curated and executed and successfully rolled out by me and Sean. And also we have Ashwini, an international award-winning designer with us. Okay, you'll be meeting her soon in the classes. And we have Maria, who has studied her bachelor's in Barcelona design, and also did master's degree from RCA London. So she'll be one of your mentors. And we have Aishwarya. Aishwarya is here. Aishwarya was here. All right. Okay. So Aishwarya, she is a fashion designer. She's from NIFT, and she has tremendous experience of running a brand as well. So she's going to also be mentoring you in this journey. So the kind of mentors that we have shortlisted and you will be interacting with are of great, have got a great experience and quality and expertise. All right. Okay. Can we go to the next slide, Dion? Right. So before we deep dive into design, have you heard of these words art, craft and design? Would have, right? Okay. What is the difference? Can anybody differentiate what is the difference between art, craft and design? What is art? Yeah.
Art is drawing, sketching.
Art is drawing, sketching, creative expression.
Yeah. And craft is making something out of the paper.
Out of a paper of any material.
Yeah, any material.
Any material, especially you do something with your hands. All right. Okay. Design.
And design is something, product, anything, you just make, you design how it will be, what item and how much measurement and all.
All right. Okay. So anybody else would like to elaborate on what ma'am has said?
Design,
Yeah.
creativity again.
Okay.
Again, creation.
creation. Yeah, I mean, there is creativity in all these three: art, craft, and design. There is creativity in all of them.
Design is something what you visualize and you try to show it on the paper or through the software, as a model,
Okay.
Bring it out, whatever you think this product or
Right. Okay.
kind of a blueprint.
It's kind of a blueprint. All right.
By all of them, creativity is a foundation.
Mhm.
I think design specifically solves a problem. Like
Wow.
it allows you to
Nice.
solve a problem and
Nice.
creates a solution for a user.
Nice. So it kind of solves a problem. Okay. Now the problem solving is also happening at craft level as well. All right. But there is a difference between craft and design, even though they're trying to solve a problem. One is not mass manufacturable. A craft that you do, they are individual pieces and you cannot mass manufacture, you cannot create millions of them. Whereas design, you can mass manufacture. All right. So somebody, sir, you wanted to share.
I agree with that.
Okay.
An outcome in mind.
Right.
That mind to design something and use creative quality.
Right, yeah. Creativity is fundamental for, in fact, our existence, creativity is required. A visual example of art, craft, and industrial design. All the three shows us flower vases. Okay, but the first one, can you identify what is that? Painting? Sunflowers by Van Gogh? Yes. All right, so there's a famous painting by Van Gogh, the sunflowers on the walls. And then the craft, you can see how the paper has been used to create our flower vase, right? Even the flowers are artificial flowers, right? Okay. In industrial design, you can see that the same purpose of a vase has been established by using a different material altogether. And something like that can be mass manufactured. All right. Okay. Next slide. Another example of art, craft, and industrial design. All the three showcasing timepieces, the concept of time, but the expression is completely different. And you can have only one art piece, okay, which will be sold for probably millions. Can anybody identify what is that painting? By whom? Dali? Yes. Okay, Salvador Dali is a famous painting. Now that's the one in the center is a craft. The one at the end is industrial design. All right, so industrial design is mass manufacturable. All right, okay. So what is this? An example, is it art or craft or industrial design, or what is this example? Industrial design? Sorry? Mix of design and craft. Okay. These are all handmade, right? So each one you have to print, mold it, print it, and then do it, right? So this is an example of a craft. Okay, next slide. Anyone for craft? Industrial design. All right, okay, next. Is it art or design? Art or design, yeah? So this is design. Why, sir?
If it was made, it could be the design of a sticker, otherwise it's art.
Right, all right. So this is part of graphic design. It's design. So, you design something like that and you mass manufacture it, right? So you can print multiples and sell as stickers and etc. So this is design. Next. This is pure art. Okay, so now you're clear, art, craft, and design. Okay, yes. Now, in design, it's just not sufficient that you design something for fulfilling a function. Okay, it needs to add some kind of additional value. Now, there are two toothbrushes here. Which one would you buy? The first one or the second one? Okay, how many are for the first one? Sorry? Price point, let us say this is maybe 50 rupees, that is 60 rupees. Second one? Second one. Because we always want something which is extraordinary, not just normal. Normal में मजा नहीं आता है ना. So what is the big deal in having a normal car? If you're getting a nice looking car for the same price, you'll naturally go for a nice looking car, right? So just fulfilling a function is not sufficient. That's not design, right? So you got to go a step ahead and create something extraordinary. Okay, next. So if you take any design for that matter, you can categorize them into functional and emotional. So functional both does the functional job, but the emotional one basically goes beyond that function, and it kind of connects with you, and then you have a feeling that, oh, I need to have this. This will look very nice on my dining table, right? It becomes like a icebreaker when some guests come, right? So the objective of designers is to basically connect with the people at an emotional level. Okay. Now this is a very good example. You would all have seen this product, right? So it's basically baby food. Okay, two different packagings, right? So initially all the packagings were like this. In fact, some food, baby food, is still available in this kind of a packaging, like a tin thing. And then you see those Junior Horlicks packaging. In fact, that Junior Horlicks packaging was done by Tata Elxsi. Have you heard of Tata Elxsi Design Studio? It is one of the largest Asia's design studio. Okay. In fact, in one of the design exploration programs, we had a studio visit to Tata Elxsi in Bangalore. So we got the campus tour and we were able to interact with the designers and etc. Now, so when you look at these two, which one do you think will emotionally connect with the young parent? The one on the right. Okay. The one on the right or the left?
One on the left has a child. It is more relatable for a mother.
Okay. So that's one thought process. All right. Okay. But when you just basically look at these two, your eye and attention basically goes to that at least for 2-3 seconds. Hey, what is this? Maybe I can buy it from a kid. Right? So design has that ability to attract the attention of the buyer. Right? Sir? Calcium Sandoz. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So this is basically a living pod. Okay, a living pod on a mountain. So this was designed by a famous designer named as Ross Lovegrove. Okay, he's a designer, and he has basically see when you go for mountaineering or hiking and etc. So you take your tents, right? And you want to live closer to the nature and etc. Right? So his thought process is how that experience can be enhanced. Right? So in general, the thought process of the designers is always to come up with something extraordinary that you have not seen or experienced before. This is a good example for that. Okay. Right. So we all see the cars, tail lamps. So that is a typical tail lamp on the top. Okay. And if you see at the bottom, it kind of erases some kind of an emotion, right? It's very sleek, neat, and it looks pretty cool. Do you agree with me? That looks cool. The one at the left bottom, right? And how else can it be enhanced? How else it can be made even more emotional? Is there a way it can be done more emotional? Okay, so this car company has done that. So, I don't have the video of that. Okay, I'll show the video. I don't have it right now. So what they have done is the designers have taken inspiration from the swarms of bees or swarms of insects that move around. Have you seen the swarms of insects? Okay, they all are grouped together and they kind of move to one place to another place and etc. etc. They took inspiration from that and they created those tail lamps. So if you actually see those tail lamps, you see these red marks and all, they kind of move. And if you give right indication, all this swarm of red lights kind of go to the right side. And if you go to the left side, and it goes to the left side, right? So that is the kind of emotional feeling that they would like to create, visual stimulus that they try to create. Next. So there are three levels that you can do design at. One is, okay, when you look at the design, you'll say, oh, it's nice, neat, brilliant. It's pretty cool. And the next one is, interesting. Oh, it can be done in this way as well. And the next one is like, whoa, what is this? I mean, what did they do? I mean, have you seen this Dyson fan? You all would have seen Dyson fan, right? So Dyson fan, basically, it's called as a bladeless fan. It doesn't have blades in it. Now, generally, when you think of a fan, you imagine three blades rotating like the fans that you see here, like table fans or the ceiling fans. But Dyson, a designer, has come up with a fan that doesn't have blades. Like, wow, what is that? Where is the air coming from? Right? So that's the kind of emotional feeling that when you are able to bring it into your design, then you are doing something valuable. All right? Okay. So anybody can guess what is this? Any guesses? Sorry? A tap, flower vase, a tap, chair. Okay, next. Shoes. Like, wow, what is this? I mean, when I looked at it, I was like, it got like a shock. What is this? Right? Okay, next. That's how you use it. Right? Now, this is a famous architect named as Zaha Hadid. Zaha Hadid, she's not there anymore now, but she's an Iranian architect, and she has designed some fantastic buildings. She has broken the norm of how a building should look like. And after doing that, achieving that, she has entered into every other design of every other object. So this is one of her designs, design of a shoe. Right? So this is a kind of DNA, guys, that you should be thinking about whenever you're designing. How can you evoke that kind of a feeling like, wow, I mean, what the hell is this, you know? Okay, next. So that leads us to the crazy wild thinking. So unfortunately, generally, if children come up with some crazy ideas or crazy thoughts and etc., their friends will discourage them. Sometimes parents will think, what are you talking? Just go study physics here and etc. Right? So we have to encourage a kind of a crazy wild thinking, because that is a foundation for doing something really awesome. All right. So I'll stop now, and we will see how to get the crazy wild thinking. All right. In fact, in the design exploration program, that is one of our core topics in terms of how you can come up with this crazy wild thinking. For example, if I ask you to design a logo, how many options would you come up with? How many options? 1, 2, 3? 3 options? 3? In design exploration program, we will help children to come up with 30 different design options. Do you think 30 options is possible? Possible? But generally we don't think. So if you ask for ideas, people generally will say, okay, 1, 2, 3. In fact, that's a trade secret in architecture business as well. All right. So in architecture profession, it works a little different. We don't create 30 different ideas in architecture. We'll only create 3 different ideas. One is what client will dislike. Definitely. Okay. He will say, I don't want that. Second is what client wants. Third is what we want. Like as an architect, what we want, right? So these 3 will show, and will mostly will go with what we want. We influence them, right? But that is not going to work in the design world, because you have to explore all the possible options if you really want to come up with that particular idea, which is like, wow, out of the world. All right. Okay. So with that, I'll hand it over to Sean. So Sean is going to further explain a little bit more depth about design and creativity.
So how many of y'all are good at GK? General knowledge? GK, okay. So. Okay, let's test your general knowledge. Okay, let's test your general knowledge. Let's see who can answer this question. So what do you see there? A bear. Okay. So what is a favorite food of the bear? Can you tell me? Jackfruit, honey, Fish. Anything else? Anything else? Come on. What else do bears eat? What do bears really like? Honey. Honey. Anything else you can think of? No? I'll tell you what bears really like. Biryani. You think so? No. Okay, fine. Fine. Let's try again. Okay, come on. Let's go to the next slide. What do you see here? A dog. A what? What else? A dog cloud. Okay, fine. So, next. So, sorry? An eye. What else do you see? Egg. Awesome. In fact, go to the next slide. Can you see that? Like a fried egg. Okay. In fact, actually, I was on a holiday. If you go back to the previous slide, and so there was this like a buffet, and there was this pool by the buffet. So my son was sitting and eating the cereal, and he said, "Oh, there's an egg here." I'm like, "Okay, where?" So I looked at it, and yes, I did see that egg, the same egg. And so this is the actual picture of the son, the food he was eating, and I put it up here, okay? And here's the interesting part. He said egg, and even you all said egg, right? Some of you, right? So what is these connections? What are these connections that we're talking about? Subjective connections. See, if I say, how much is 2 plus 2? 4. Right? 2 plus 2 is 4. It cannot be 4.1. It cannot be 3.9. It's accurate. It's 4. But when it comes to subjective thinking, there are endless number of possibilities. Correct? And there are endless number of combinations. So this is what we are going to. This is the area that we kind of specialize in the sense. This is the area we have some strengths that others don't have, some sort of a skill to think subjectively. So let's try and understand this better. Next slide, next slide. Okay, now these are two interesting words that people, in fact, we use this every day from the time we are small, but if you have to put a specific words to it, this is what it is. Apophenia and pareidolia. Apophenia and pareidolia. Now, what is apophenia? Apophenia is connecting two absolutely unrelated things, okay? And making some meaning out of it. Now, that's important. It's not just about connecting two different things. It's connecting and making meaning that everybody gets. For example, I said bear and biryani. Right? They are completely two unrelated things, but you can somehow join them together, right? So that's how you get these jokes. That's how you get a witty person. So what is a witty person? Person who can just suddenly connect two different things and then just, kind of throws, but everybody gets it. Now, I can connect two different things which people don't get. That doesn't make so much of sense, right? But if people are getting it, okay, so you say this person is witty, right? Or this person is creative, okay? Pareidolia is, apophenia is in general, right? It is connecting words, it's connecting thoughts, it's connecting unrelated data, okay? Whereas pareidolia is very specifically connecting something visually, okay? Like, for example, the example you saw in clouds is pareidolia, okay? So if you look at these pictures here, specifically, like what do you see here? Some sort of a face in all these different things. So even if you see every day, day to day, in your day-to-day life, you look at say patterns on the floor or patterns on paint texture, and you suddenly see patterns in unrelated things. Okay, all this is called pareidolia and apophenia. Okay. So now what happens is, now how is this related to art, right? Now, can you look at this painting here done by a student at DQ Labs? So you'll see a street light, and in this person's mind, the street light is used as a swing. Now, there is one thing that you're thinking it in your mind, but there's another skill to actually bring it down on paper. You understand, right? So you're thinking something, but how do you put it down on paper to show what you're visualizing in your mind? You understand, right? So this is an example. Can we go to the next? Observation. So this is another very key and important trait that especially designers have, or general people have, who who think a lot, is they observe the smallest of things. You understand, right? What is just regular to everybody, but they see something in that you do not see. Something as simple as if you take your phone and you just swipe. Okay, it's such a simple motion, right? But somebody has thought of it and made it happen. But once it happens, it's so easy, right? Let's try an exercise on this. Observation. Okay. So let's test your observation skills, all of you. So here's a pencil, an ordinary pencil. What do we use a pencil for? To write, to draw. That's the purpose of the pencil, right? But let's just actually see how this pencil is used in so many ways other than drawing and writing, which all of us have used this pencil in so many ways other than drawing or writing, okay? So let me ask y'all, I want y'all to think, okay? I'll give you a very old example which all the parents will relate to. The students will have no idea. You remember our old audio tapes? We would wind it. Yes? How many times we have done that, right? I mean, the students would not even may not have seen an audio tape, but we have done it so many times, right? Even when we were studying, all of us had table fans. You put it on, it doesn't work. You put your pencil in and tuck, then it starts working, correct? So that's where we've used. Now, I've given you 2 examples. So Umesh said, now we need to think of 30 examples. Sorry? Carpenter usage, like as a measurement? As a measurement? Hairpin? To draw a line, yes. Plug in the charger. How many of you all have done this, plugging a charger? In fact, I've gone to a hotel where they have kept pencils there only for that, by the charger. So, and they said you plug it in. Plug in.
Winding thread.
Winding thread. Who else? Chopsticks. Drums. Bookmark. Anybody else? A scale for children. Pencil fight.
Hand fan, we put some fan kind of thing.
Hand fan. Okay, what else? Scratching your back. Scratching your head. How many of us have actually done it? I mean, I'm giving you practical, I'm saying things that you have actually done. You know, I mean, it's not like, so just think about it. How many ways we have actually used in our lives? Think about it. We have used this pencil as a tool and we are completely unaware, right? We don't observe. Now, here's an interesting thing in design and in the design process and in the design methodology. There's a design methodology, okay? So the first thing we make you understand is how to observe the little things, right? Which everybody else cannot see. It just passes by. But when you start observing the simple little details, things start making, you're able to absorb so much of information from it, okay? So easily how we got 30 examples. I can even give you some more. So many times, even our old papers, we have punched a hole in the paper and you tie a thread, right? So many things, you mix it, pencil art, you can mix paint with it, You can, a dead cockroach on your table, right? You use it as a tool to did you done that? No? Exactly. So even simple thing, bed sheet, okay? A bed sheet. What do? We're going outside, we use it to cover our TV, cover our sofa, right? We go out for a week. So if you see on the roadside, so many times you'll see near construction sites, they use it as a cradle, right? For babies to, I've seen it all over the place. So things like this, okay? Observation, observing the smallest little things. And in fact, it's the little things that make a big difference, right? Make things simple, looking for simple solutions. Yeah. Now, once again, creativity. Now, there's another mistaken thing. People think only those who draw are all creative, right? Is that true? Is an accountant creative? Is a dentist creative? Yes. The answer is everyone is. We are creative because we are human. That makes us, it's a strong trait that we have. I'm not saying animals are not creative. Animals also are extremely creative, but we have it in abundant strength, okay? So creativity makes us human. Creativity takes things to the next level, right? And creativity comes out in so many ways, so many forms. It's not just art. It can be performing art. It can be the way you think. It's even when we are cooking, right? We have to be creative. Say this ingredient is not there. We have to think, okay, what else do we do? Or some people are coming and some things are not there. So we have to creatively manage solutions. CAs will creatively see how you can avoid taxes, right? Doctors will creatively see how best he can do the least amount of incision to perform your surgery. So creativity is there everywhere, okay? So let's not forget that part. It's just that on what levels they are played with. Like say, for example, in an accountant role, there would be, yes, even though there's creativity, but it's more specified, lesser creativity. But when you're in the design field here, you're using it on a maximum level, okay? It's a skill that we use very heavily. So creativity comes in different forms. Like say, for example, even if you're writing a story, like, can we go to the next slide? Performing art, writing your own music. Next one. Yeah, story. Let's say, for example, even if you're writing a story, you have to create the characters, right? Technically, you're playing God. You're making characters alive. You can bring someone back from the dead. These are the stories you can play with, right? So you're creating a world that doesn't exist, right? So even if you're just writing or typing on paper, you're using a lot of creativity in different ways, okay?
That's so that creativity normally associate the visual effect too, right? But because the creativity is also creativity because of the visual.
Exactly. So a lot of people mistake it thinking it's for visual arts or visual performance, but it's more than that. It's the way you think. For example, this is the difference between an innovator, like innovators like Newton or whoever, right? Even in physics and maths, you can be creative. You can find solutions that don't exist, right? So it doesn't have to be just art. It can be anything. And it's creativity that takes things to the next level, It's pushing boundaries. You're not scared to think. So these are all exercises that help you with that kind of thinking, okay? So here comes another thing. Is art just a hobby, okay, which is the perception that we have, or am I really needed in today's world, okay? Now, here's the thing. It's not like a company should say, you know what, okay, fine, let's have them, so what's the big deal? Chalo, there are some creative people, let's have them. Is that the thing? Or is it the companies are desperately looking for you, right? That means if a company does not have a creative team, the company is going to go down, right? So now, when we relate a creative team to company success, right? Then what's going to happen is the company will go all out to hire creative people. The company will go all out to retain you, right? And that's important. That's what's happening in today's world. That's what we need to understand in India. So that's the reason why all the creative students, I'm saying, when I say creative, I mean in the world of those who like to draw, right? All of us have a really good opportunity, right? So that's what we're trying to understand. In fact, that's what this program is all about, to see what is the various opportunity that is available, okay? Now, it's extremely important. The opportunities that we should understand is not just for the student, it's also for the parents, okay? Even the parents need to understand that there is so much of opportunity out there. So even you are very confident, you know, and there's a whole support system out there. What do you see here? A sketch, a drawing, right? So every single car that you see out there, somebody has drawn the car. So actually it has come from the hands of an artist, a designer, right? So I can take the most brilliant automobile engineers, right? Technically sound engineers, but they will not be able to come up with a drawing like this, because for this you need a different skill, correct? That's what we need to understand, right? That's the link out there. The link of creativity and engineering. There's a big difference. And when I'm talking about creativity, I'm talking about the design department, okay? Now what has been happening all these years is that the design department has been outsourced to the West, right? It comes from the US, it comes from Europe. And we just support, if you see most of the knowledge outsourcing units out here, where you have advanced engineering, the design has already come in and we support development more, but we don't do the design ourselves. But that's changing. So in fact, even the design department now is happening in India itself. I'm sure even a lot of software, a lot of parents in software here, the software industry, you would relate to the UI UX department, right? Where it's not just software programming, even the basic wireframes, the basic UX, the basic UI is also being developed here. And no matter whether you have a big team or even a team of just maybe 20, 25 people, you still need a UX team, because without your UX, you can't go to software development, okay? And that's where design comes into play. And they say, my daughter, my son is very good in drawing, very good in artistic creativity, but, so that word but always comes, okay? But they are good in math, and but they're good in science. So what does that mean? So many parents, okay? So basically what they're trying to say is, she's so good in physics and she's so good in maths, but why does she, want to waste her talent in design? That is so not true, okay? In fact, if you go to the next slide, actually design requires two sides. It requires logical thinking as well as subjective thinking. In fact, you have two skills, okay? So therefore, when you go to an NID or you go to an IIT, they test you for both these skills, your subjective side as well as your logical side, because only the logical side is like a confirmation, so it's like an iterative loop. So therefore, actually the best designers are those who are excellent in their creative subjective thinking, as well as who are very good in their logical thinking as well. I'm not saying you have to be really good in math, but you should be good in your basic aptitude, okay? So it really helps. Okay. So, various careers in design. Shall we continue it after the break? Okay, so we'll take a break now, and then we will come back to what are the different career opportunities and what are the different career possibilities. But we can take a break for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a short 20-minute break. We've got some snacks ready. The snacks will be kept on the table, and snacks and some soft drinks.
Meanwhile, while this is getting ready, are there any questions from you all so far from what we have spoken? While it's getting ready, if there are any questions, you all can ask. Okay. So the question here is, how does a student decide? How does a student decide design? How does a student decide architecture? Okay. The answer is, it should come from the student itself. That's the best way. Now, let's say, for example, as a parent, as even a career counselor, the moment you tell them what to do, it's not very effective. It should come from them. UX design, what is game is, if a student doesn't know, then they can't make a decision right? But the more knowledge a student has, the more sampling a student does, they're able to say, oh, okay, I know what logo design is, I know what animation is, I know what stop motion is. And then they are able to sort of group or cluster. When I say group, I mean they will say, I like logo, I like furniture, I like jewelry. I don't like these three. So you see there'll be a clustering that forms. And from that cluster, then they can even further go through and figure out what they like. So it's a process which takes time, and this is part of the process. Yeah. So to introduce them to all the different areas of design, to introduce them to what is there, so they also can sample it and they can kind of try and understand and make a better decision.
Is Bachelor of Design STEM as a STEM program or
A STEM program.
in the US?
I'm not sure if it is considered as a STEM program, but if you see like the pure definition, what they mean by STEM program, it's purely from a logical point of view. I would say this is on the boundary, right? This is it's an extension. Design does have a lot of logic side to it as well, but I would say it's an extension. I would call it as, maybe you can call it creative engineering or creative, the creative sciences. Yeah. So how it works, like say for example, I worked in R&D, we work together. So we have the design department and you have advanced engineering. Now there's a big difference between engineering and advanced engineering, okay? Or rather engineering development. Engineering development is they're actually making all the tools and dies and testing it on a software. But they're constantly talking with the design team. And there's an iterative process till you find a successful solution, number one. And of course, number two, that is economically viable. Yeah.
So are all the centers in class functioning in the same way?
Yeah.
For example, like a Domino's pizza, not compared to a Domino's pizza. So my question is, because most of the time they open up in a certain place, you will see the team of faculty there. So are you?
Okay, the difference between Domino's is, let's say you have one in Marthalle and you have one in Indiranagar, you have two different chefs. But here the chef is the same because the same teachers are going all around. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. So let's say, for example, if I'm taking it here one day, I go to another center the next day. So it's planned that way. So same faculty. So it's there's no difference. Okay, IIT BDes has only, I'm saying roughly about 100 seats. All India, okay? I'm talking about all the IITs put together, about 100 seats, say roughly. NID, all the NIDs put together has about maybe say 250 seats. I'm giving you rough figures, okay? PG, post-graduation, has another, for IITs has another, just hardly 15 seats per IIT, 5 IITs, again, not more than, even if you say maximum 75.
Design or architecture?
Design, I'm talking pure design. And also here, post-graduation about say 275. So say 500, 600, say 700, okay? So roughly if I take 700, okay, roughly, okay, plus or minus. So how many NIDs and IITs are there in India at present, including masters as well as undergraduation seats, okay? IITs are not more than 5, okay, that is because IIT Kanpur does not have a bachelor program. And NID is 5, okay, that's it. If you even count NID Bangalore, 6. Technically NID Bangalore is a subset of NID Ahmedabad and it's only for PG programs, okay. So even if I put them all together, it's 700 students passing out of NID and IIT every year. Actually, this has created a shortage, a heavy shortage. Now let's be practical. Like say for example, if there might be some senior software parents here, software development hiring teams, there must be. So yeah, so if you actually look for UI UX designers with a BDes or a MDes degree, right, 4-year program or a 2-year program, I'm sure is it difficult to find? I mean, it's difficult to find because it's not like in abundance. Yeah. So what's happening is, they are most of the time, even I was just talking to a parent yesterday from Sapient. So they are hiring people who are software programmers who have done a course, 6-month course with HCI, HFI. There are a lot of certification programs which you can do online. So they take people with certification programs because they don't have the luxury of say, I want only an NIDian, I want only an IITian. There are no people. So that's what's happening today, created a heavy shortage and all the designers. So what's happening, okay? So let's say, for example, you want to hire, first you'll go to NID, IIT. If you don't get, then where do you go? You have to go elsewhere, right? You've got to go to a Shrishti, you've got to go to a UID, you've got to go to a Strat, you've got to go to other schools, MIT Pune. So what's happening is, other schools are benefiting big time because of the shortage. So all the private design schools are benefiting a lot. For example, I've seen 5 years ago from MIT Pune, a postgraduate student got hired into Microsoft, roughly with a package of 21 lakhs. I'm talking about 5 years ago, okay? But anyway, the money is not the importance here. But what I'm trying to say is, companies are looking everywhere. Yeah, so this 700 people, just a city like Bangalore can absorb 700 people per year, and that too only in software. Now, imagine communication design, fashion design, industrial design, gaming, all your other design. It's a big shortage. That's the reason why, now all colleges are opening. Yeah. All colleges are opening design, like say, for example, RV, PESET, MS Ramaya, CMR, because suddenly everybody has realized, oh, what is this design, So they're all opening design now.
Design as an option in 11th.
Also, yes, if you see your CBSE board, now you have design subjects as an option. With the new education policy, they want to introduce design way of thinking, because it makes you will understand, now that you all are getting familiar with it, you'll understand it makes a world of a difference, the way you think. Simple things, simple observations, simple things which you don't do will help you actually in any field. So even technically, if they introduce design thinking and design methodology in schools, on a subject level, it'll actually help them in all areas. Yeah, which people are now, they're getting aware of. So whether it's a software company, a lot of software companies hire designers, a lot of people are not aware of it. In fact, when I say software companies, even your e-commerce, like say, for example, if you're flipping through Amazon or Flipkart, but you don't realize there's a lot of videos, a lot of graphic that comes out. So a lot of designers there are constantly behind the scene, Myntra, putting up a lot of graphic out there that you are unaware of. Whether it's your apps, your phones, motion graphics, the experience, user experience. There's a huge amount of designers that are hired in these segments. So the software companies are a huge employer of designers, apps, games. Of course, there's the transportation industry, industrial design. Now, industrial design, product design, again, is a vast segment by itself. In fact, the car that you see here is done in Bangalore. This is a design done in Bangalore, a concept vehicle. Typically, this is what your design studio looks like. It's a fun environment. In fact, everybody wants to come to the design studio, and when they see the design studio, they'll be like, oh, how do you all get a job out there, And here's the important part. The design studio is always it's the most secretive part of especially in production, in industrial design. It's very difficult to go into the design department, right? You either need to be senior level management. Not everybody can go into the design department, but we could go into all the other departments, right? So everybody used to want to come in and see what's happening in there. So another examples for your products. How many of you all have seen this? Do you know what this is? Fan. Do you know what fan it is? Dyson. Yeah, all of you all would have seen the Dyson vacuum cleaners. It's very popular. So if you look at this fan, it's very interesting. You can put your hand through, but you still feel the air. It doesn't have blades. So how can you think of a fan that doesn't have blades? Things like that. This is a very interesting product. This is a live straw. So it's just a simple straw with the filter. So you can just, if you're trekking or camping anywhere, you can actually drink water from any source. Simple product, very interesting. Oh, this is another interesting area. Even the medical sector hires designers. So things like Johnson & Johnson, Boston, either it's Boston Scientific or Boston Instrument, I do not know. Boston Scientific. In fact, I have some of my batchmates working for them, and they develop surgical tools, surgical equipment. In fact, it's so interesting. As a product designer, right? So my colleagues, my classmates who used to work for Johnson & Johnson used to attend surgeries, like orthopedic surgeries, knee replacement, hip replacement, dental procedures, to study and understand doctors' use of equipment, fatigue, efficiency, and improvise on their tools. So you can imagine the versatility of the area out here. Even KPMG, KPMG has an entire team of designers that do a lot of projects. Like, say, for example, why would a consultancy company hire a design team? Like, say, I'm from Samsung, right? And I want a project. I want to launch a new segment, a new phone in a certain area. Sometimes you outsource this study to KPMG or these consultancies, and they will study in Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 cities and understand the segments, understand what's popular, what's not popular. They do a lot of study there. And they send their reports to companies that want to possibly invest in new products or want to expand their products or technologies. So how is design changing India? In a big way? All your, anybody has heard of this design house called Pininfarina? Pininfarina, yeah. They design, they are traditionally designed Ferrari. And who owns Pininfarina now? Mahindra. Who said that? Mahindra, yeah. Mahindra owns Pininfarina, okay? So you can, Mahindra, Tata Elxsi, Tata also has bought a big design house in Europe. So you can see how Indian companies are investing big time into design, and you can see it in their products. You can see Mahindra vehicles, Tata vehicles, right? The change that has happened in the last 10 years. The rupee symbol was designed by a designer from IIT Bombay, Communication Department. You can see the old world and new world. Yeah, we have been through that. Simple things like even Indigo is a very good example of how everything is designed so beautifully from end to end. Whether, if you see their cashew nut thing, it's called Nutcase. Have you seen that? Yeah. And everything, even if you're walking up that ramp, it says you're walking on the fashion ramp to 35,000 feet, and all their graphics. You don't realize it, but end to end it is it's just matching with their ads and matching with everything inside their plane, okay? And even with the uniforms and everything. So you can see how it's all well coordinated out here. Paperboat. So paperboat, like when you see these things, you feel like at least buying it to say, oh, what is this? Because it's so different, right? An old mill converted into, anybody from Mumbai? Phoenix Mills, have you seen this mall? No. Okay, so I'm just going to flip through this. I'm not going to go through this last part in detail. What are the different areas? Industrial design, communication design, IT integrated design, interdisciplinary design, fashion design, architecture, okay? I'm just going to flip through it, but we will come back through it in detail through your course, and you will understand it more in detail, okay? Just for your understanding. So transportation design, product design, glass and ceramic, furniture, toy and game design. In fact, gamification is like, you know, there's a big difference between gamification and game design. And that's another huge aspect that's being absorbed in the industry. Animation and film, exhibition design, video, film, communication, graphic, photography, UI UX, retail experience, clothing, textile, leather, lifestyle accessory, fashion communication, another budding area, architecture, interiors, okay? Anyway, so I hope this is, it's extremely important. We had to talk for the parents to understand today because we need the parents also along with the students to understand what are the options, you know, then it creates a very supportive environment at home, okay? So anyway, so Umesh will take over now and he will continue with the next part.
Okay, so let us continue. I'm going to explain what we are going to do in the next 1 month. 1 month, right? It's a summer program, right? So generally we have it as an 8-Sunday program. So in 8 weeks, we complete the program. But generally in the summer vacation, students have a lot of time. So we are taking it as an opportunity to give them more experience. So during the summer, we also want to take them to design school, architecture school, fashion school, and a design studio if possible. All right. So let me just run through. So essentially, each of the student will be working on 15 projects hands-on. Okay. So they are segregated like architecture, like spaces, products and services related to other than fashion, and then the fashion related projects. Fine. So regarding the spaces, they'll be working on a shelter design, exhibition design, interior design, and in terms of the products, they'll be looking at logo, game, stop motion, app design, character design. Now, one thing I would like to tell you is design, if you have to define what design is about solving people problems. All right, for the benefit of planet and profit and people. So 3 P's, right? People, profit, and planet. Now, generally, sometimes I come across some students who are studying like between 8th and 12th, of course, and they say that, okay, I want to become a shoe designer. Please teach me everything related with shoe design. Okay. So they come up with a very boxed thinking. All right. So when you're entering into design, you need to have an open mind, because ultimately what you're trying to do is solve people problems. For example, in architecture, we are solving the problem of spaces. Okay, spaces, buildings. Like for example, these are very badly designed space, right? It's pretty hot, right? Even though there are artificial means of making it cooler, it's not efficient, right? So to solve these kind of problems, the spaces, buildings, landscapes, etc., is the job of an architect. To solve the problems of using everyday tools, that's the job of a product designer or a furniture designer, right? And to give comfortable clothing and nice textiles and etc. is the job of a fashion designer. So it all boils down to you trying to solve people problems. That is what designers do. All right, so that has to be very clear, because once you're clear on that, then you get a lot of enthusiasm and inquisitiveness to see how you can actually take up that particular design discipline and see how you can use it to solve people problems. Right? Okay. And then for each of those projects, for many of these disciplines, we'll be doing 30 different ideas. Okay, so there are certain methods and tools of generating these ideas. So we are going to introduce those to you, and you'll be applying them. And then at the end of the program, you'll be having like a booklet of ideas. Okay, that becomes your portfolio. Okay. And very important, have fun in terms of making friends. You'll be meeting a lot of friends, not only like we are organizing it at various centers, right? So not only making friends with the students coming at that particular center, But every Saturday we'll be having a kind of a outing to a design school or fashion school. So all the students meet together every Saturday, right? So you get an opportunity to mingle with other students as well. So make friends, share ideas. So in the process, when you're doing the ideation process, many times you may get stuck with the idea, and people think that the idea should be yours only. I mean, you should not be taking inspiration from outside area or ask other students, nothing like that. Okay, in fact, as a part of the design process, we do extensive visual research to get inspiration for new ideas. So in the classroom setup, what you can do is you can discuss with your friends and brainstorm to come up with these ideas. Okay, so share your ideas, feel free to share your ideas. Nobody's going to steal your idea. All right. And very importantly, you have to leave the judgment out. Okay, out of your life basically. As a designer, if you want to become a successful designer, you should be non-judgmental. All right, because the moment you become judgmental, you will be leaving out all the valuable ideas. Certain ideas will look very funny or very crazy, and you may think that, okay, if I express this idea, others will laugh at me. Okay, but in the design environment, it doesn't happen like that. In fact, in the brainstorming session, when it is moderated session, they want crazy ideas. If you're giving a normal idea, it's like abnormal. Having a normal idea is being abnormal. So that's the one. So please do not be judgmental. All right. And then we'll be, as I said, we'll be having school visits. So Dion will be organizing and he'll be taking you to various spaces. And you can actually see what students are working, what kind of projects, what kind of materials they use, what problems are they solving of people, right? From an architecture school point of view, a design school point of view, and a fashion school point of view. And if possible, you can also make a visit to a design studio or an architecture studio, all right? Okay, so finally, all the doodles that you do, very important, you have to do all the work using a pen, a black pen or color pens, not pencils, okay? If you're not confident, you will become confident in some time, because we're going to have some exercises in which will make you confident of using a pen directly. In case you make mistakes, no problem, leave that and do one more. But you have to work using a pen on a A4 size sheet. So you don't use drawing sheets or something like that. You just use A4 size Xerox copies, papers, and you draw on them. All right. So why pen is because multiple reasons. You would have more clarity of thought in terms of what you're drawing, because if you're doing with pencil, you have the feeling that, okay, you can always erase it. But when you're actually drawing with a pen, you know that it cannot be erased, right? So you'll be more cautious. And secondly, you'll have to upload all your work on edge.dqlabs.in. Okay, so we are going to show you how you have to upload that work. And have you created your accounts on edge.dqlabs.in? Any of you have created your accounts? Some of you have created. All right, so we want to navigate and show you where to use it. So all this work that you have done using your pens, that becomes part of your documentation. Okay, so at the end of the program, you will have to present your work to your friends, to the faculty, to me and Sean. So when you do this work using a pen, they will be visible, like legible, right? Otherwise, they will not be legible and we can't understand what you have done, right? So, and then what we will do is we will pick up one of your ideas that we feel that it's very brilliant, and we will get it developed by our in-house designer or by using AI. Okay, this is an example of one of the student. So she has come up with this particular idea of a shoe. Okay, a crazy looking nice shoe, and this is how, if it was actually been created, how it would look like. So this transition would be showcased to you. In fact, that work will come onto your certificate. So we'll be giving you at the end of the program, we'll be giving you a certificate, and this graphic will go onto the certificate. All right, so this is how the certificate would look like, and that is where your work will be showcased, and that's a template of the certificate. And we'll be having a ceremony where all your work will be showcased like in a display, and then one of the famous designers will be felicitating you with the work. All right. Okay, so that's about the program. Any questions, any doubts about the program? Yes, sir.
You said it's a summer program, 8 Sundays. I thought it was a.
So, yeah. So we have two modules. One is a 8 Sunday program, other is a summer program. So now what we are going to have is a summer program. So that will go for the entire 1 month. Okay, so Monday to Saturdays. Saturday will be a field trip. Sorry, Tuesdays to Saturdays. Yes. Tuesday to Saturdays.
That size, what is how many kids would be there? Students would be there?
So it will be between 5 to 10 students in a batch. Yeah, so there'll be close interaction with the faculty, and they're not huge. We are planning for 4 visits. 4 Saturdays, yes.
How many projects?
15 projects. 15 projects, yes.
So is it like NID visits or?
A design school, so it depends on which design school is available and accessible, so we'll be taking to them.
There are multiple centers, right? Where
Yes,
it's happening.
yes,
So one is there, one is in Mathura.
yes,
Other centers.
yes, yes. So the same program. If it is, see, the 8 Sunday program happens only on Sundays, right? That will be online. Offline is happening in Indiranagar. You can also do online from anywhere, right? Yeah.
And this Sunday program also has school visits or it's only for summer?
No, it's for all the design exploration programs students. Yes.
So it will be on your Sunday.
Saturdays. Saturdays. Yeah.
So you said the offline is happening only in another? I thought it was
No.
Mathura.
Okay, so offline program for the summer vacation is happening at 4 locations: Indiranagar, Jayanagar, TCIS Hosa Road, and Marthali. Right, and we're also doing this online as well. The summer vacation.
So why online, why offline? Both one.
So we have students from other states who will be joining. So for them it is online, so they cannot travel here. Yeah. So if you miss any of the days, then that particular missed class will be done on a Sunday. Right? With the 8 Sunday program students, it will be done on 8 Sundays online. Okay, fine. All right. So how many of you here draw? Raise your hands. Okay. So now I would want each of you to draw. Okay. So we're going to have some exercises because this is like a kind of a base for you to become free of your thought process and become not judgmental and have some fun. Okay. So we're going to distribute some sheets and a career booklet and a pen, and I'm going to teach you some simple stuff. We'll start with baby steps, all right? So even if you have not drawn anything from your 4th grade, no problem. You will draw something interesting today. All right? Yes.
So when you said there are 4 centers,
Yes.
and I was looking at the brochure.
Yes.
So the TCI is Harloor, like
Yes.
Bhusha Road.
Yes.
It's from 8 to 5.
Yes.
And in Marthali also it is 3 to 5.
3 to 5, yeah.
So there will be different faculty.
Different faculty. Yes. Right? Okay, Raju, can you distribute the papers? Sketch pens, वही पे रखा था ना? वही पे है. Okay, so when we are speaking, okay, what is the fundamentals of spoken, and for any spoken language, what are the fundamentals? Like building blocks? Vocabulary, even before vocabulary? Alphabets, right? So when you are actually drawing something on paper, it is actually a visual language. It's like a language, okay? And even in this visual language, there are visual alphabets, okay? So let us start with visual alphabets very quickly. So once you get your sheets, I'm going to teach you what you have to draw. Yes? Yep. Yeah, so you can keep this aside for a minute. We're not going to work on this. We're going to give you plain sheets to work with, okay? So keep this aside for a minute. Yeah, so you all should have got one plain sheet and a sheet with a grid. Or if you have a pen with you, you can also use a pen. No problem. Doesn't matter, a sketch pen or a pen. Any color is okay, absolutely fine. So as I'm drawing, you can also draw on your sheets. Draw a circle. Start with a circle and an oval. Okay, so when you're drawing these lines, one thing you have to be keeping in your mind. You see this joint? You see this joint? Please try to avoid the joint. I mean, they have to meet at the same point. Okay, so you got to be cautious when you're drawing it, all right? So the starting point and the ending point should be like joining together. Then it looks neat. That's the purpose. Okay, so draw a circle, an ellipse, a triangle. A simple square. A rectangle. Shape of a house. And a blob. Done? Yeah? Nice. Okay. Very good, you're all experts. Nice. So now let us start with the, so these are basically shapes, right? These are shapes, right? So I don't want to get into the mathematics of it, but basically if you have an enclosed shape, then that's a shape. So let's start with a simple dot, a line, angle, an arc, a spiral, and a loop. Okay, now just these are required to communicate anything in the world. Whatever you want to communicate, whatever you want to draw, anything that you would want to draw in a simple format, in an understandable way. If you know this, if you're able to draw this, you are an artist. Yes? At a basic level, beginner level, right? So you can communicate. So now let us start to communicate, all right, with these. Okay, now let us draw a simple person, a very simple person, all right? So he has a head. So please ensure that you are touching the same point, a circle, a rectangle, two lines, and an arc. Right? Very nice. Okay. Now let us do a simple bottle. Okay. So a rectangle, and an oval, like a perfume bottle, a simple perfume bottle. Done? Fantastic. All right. Now let us go little creative. All right. So you want to, I mean, you all had vada, I guess. Vada. Shall we draw vada? Let us draw vada. Okay. So vada is basically An oval, another oval, like a donut, right? Now let us try to draw that box that you have used. So let us do it in a simple format, all right? So let us not complicate it. Let us draw the box. So I draw a square. So this has a kind of a cap as well. Does it look like a box that is openable? From the side. From the side. Yeah? So that is enough. You don't have to do any complex drawings. As long as we are able to communicate it, that is absolutely fine. Okay? Now with these simple shapes, let us make it a little bit more complex. Now I would want you to draw a dinosaurus. Who can draw a dinosaurus? With simple shapes. The same visual language, visual alphabets that we have used. Or a dog. Can you draw a dog, a side profile of a dog? With simple geometrical shapes. Try doing it. So I would like to see the geometrical shapes, using geometrical shapes, no free forms, nothing, just geometrical shapes. Okay, that's nice. That's good. So please try, please try. Okay, and a tail, and little ears, little triangles, right? Okay, that's nice. That is nice. Okay, nice, good. Good, good, good. Oh, nice, okay. Oh, that's very nice. That's pretty cool. Nice, nice, nice. All right, okay. Okay, have you all done the animal? Okay, is it easy? Is it looking good? Nice, that's pretty good. Very nice. Okay, so one last exercise and then we'll go to the most complex ones, okay? So one last exercise, I would want you to draw the person sitting next to you. Draw the person sitting next to you. So, see, they will be having some peculiar stuff, right? So maybe beard, maybe glasses, or different way of hair, arranging the hair, or maybe different dress, pattern on a dress, right? So you can replicate them. You don't have to draw exactly. Just using geometrical shapes, I would want you to draw. Okay? Draw the person next to you or in front of you. You can also draw me if you want to. Just with the basic shapes, no complex stuff. Okay? Aishwarya? Okay. Simple stuff. We are not interested in complexity. For complexity, AI is there. We use the AI tool for that. Okay? Okay, so how is it coming? How is the person in front of you coming? Okay, good. Nice, nice. But I would prefer geometrical shapes. These are like freehand drawings, right? Simple geometrical shapes, the visual alphabets that we have seen, using them. Okay? For example, for the hair, you can use the blob, the shape of the blob for the hair, right? Like that. Nice, 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 nice. Geometrical shapes. Use the geometrical shapes. This has become a freehand. Okay? Yeah, geometrical shapes. Okay. Okay, any interesting ones that you would like to showcase? Anyone has got? Yeah,
I'll photograph.
you can show them. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. All right, okay. So I think that's me, right? Oh, that's your daughter. Okay. Nice. So what Sean is going to do is, if you have something interesting to show, Sean will take a picture of that and will showcase on the TV screen. All right. Okay. So, meanwhile, I would like to hand over the next exercise to Aishwarya. So she's one of the mentors here. She's a fashion graduate from NIFT. So she's going to help you with the next exercise that has this tick mark.
So that's exactly what this exercise is encouraging us to do, is to see beyond just the tick mark, to see what else is there in the space around it. And so let's maybe do a couple of examples together. So this is the space that we have with the tick mark. So I like the example of the birds. So the first thought maybe that comes to our mind is you immediately do wings, you add like a tiny leg, and then immediately in the background maybe there's a tree. There's a mountain somewhere in the background, right? So I've immediately filled this empty rectangle that had only a tick mark. Now it contains so much more. And it can also tell a story at the same time. It can be a funny story. It can be, specific scenery that we see somewhere. So for example, when I see this tick mark, I'm immediately thinking, it kind of looks like a shoe maybe, or like a, sort of footwear of sorts. And immediately I'm thinking, what is the funny joke associated with that is when you have maybe like a banana peel that you're about to step on. So then it becomes a story. So around that, you're immediately thinking, oh no, this person is in danger. So that becomes like an interesting frame all by itself. So that's what I'm going to encourage all of you to do. Look beyond the tick mark and try to create a story inside this frame. So we have 9 frames. We can create 9 different stories if we want. We can actually create, a connected sort of story line entirely, where you start off with maybe the bird is sitting on the tree has maybe a nest. So you can actually create a very sort of continuous storyline as well in this one page. So we can think as sort of unique as we want to on this one page. Any clarifications that I can sort of help anyone out with? I hope everyone's clear. Yes. Okay, all right. First couple of boxes, but I would encourage you to think even harder. Think about, things around you. Think about people around you, elements around you, and let that take form in that square. So anytime you're feeling stuck, right, just look around you. Can you imagine this could be maybe a helmet maybe, right? So this can be like the back of the helmet with like the, the flip in front. So just look around you whenever you feel like you're a little bit stuck. All right, so just then you can start imagining like a chair maybe, right? It has that sharp edge, just like the edges there on this. So you can look around, you'll get ideas. Very nice. I like the car seat idea. Hockey for sure. Definitely, it looks like a hockey stick. Yeah. Yeah. He was inspired by it. Very nice. I like the cup. Very cool. Mr. Mish, should I collect it?
Yeah. So please write your names and if you want,
Thank you.
take a picture of your work.
Is it done? Should I take it? Yeah. Your name is there. Thank you. Thank you. That's fine. Thank you. Oh, very nice.
Okay, so anyone of you wanted challenging?
Good.
Challenging, right? Okay, so there's a small trick to it. Alright, so if you know the trick, then it will be very, very easy for you. Not just 9, but 90 and 900. Alright? So in fact, this trick we are going to use in the design exploration program.
Thank you.
And that is how we have coming up with 30 different ideas for each of the design disciplines.
Thanks.
Okay, and we have found acronym for the method. It is called as CUP56. Can you remember that? CUP56. Okay, so remember the acronym. I'm going to explain you what that means. The first C in the cup refers to context. Alright? Now, you're not consciously looking for a context when you are doing the work here, the stick mark. But if you consider a context for each of the stick marks, you can come up with unlimited ideas. For example, the tick mark in a doctor's office, doctor's clinic. Alright? So, can you see any tick mark in a doctor's clinic, like in a corner, or maybe like a tongue cleaner, or or a stethoscope with a tick mark? Can you imagine that? Okay, for example. So you have a tick mark like that. Alright, so probably I'll have another tick mark like this. And like a something to hold. Right? So that is happening to your mind because I'm thinking of a context. Alright? Now you can take a different context. Take a context of maybe a shoe mentor. Okay? So where can you see this kind of tick mark? Now when you're looking at the tick mark, you don't have to look from this angle. You can also look from this angle. From a different orientation. Okay, so then probably you can create some kind of an angle on which they wear the shoe, right? So the first letter C is for context. Okay, to solve any creative problems, first think of the context and you can start getting ideas. The second is U. U is for usability. Okay. Especially, for example, in the product design sense, let us say you have to design a bottle. Okay, so bottles can be used in different contexts. So first you have to design a context. So what do I mean? A bottle for a cyclist will be a different, right? A bottle for an astronaut will be different. A bottle for a kid will be different. Bottle for an office goer will be different, right? So first thing is context, and then you think about the usability, how it's going to be used. Okay? And then the third one, the P, is for persona, or the personality. Persona is basically a person, a typified group of people. Now, there are so many people here. Does any two shirts match together? And some of you are using spectacles. Any two spectacles match together? No, because my likes and dislikes are different than yours. I like something else, you like something else. Alright? So P stands for persona. So from persona, what we have to understand is the likes of the person. For example, a bottle for a kid, or maybe a bottle for a teenager. Alright? So teenager will have different likes and dislikes. What would he like? Like for example, he may be into cartoons, watching cartoons. Maybe he may be into sports, right? Or maybe he likes to read about space, right? Or maybe he likes doodling. So we need to understand 5 different likes minimum, right? So that 5 represents 5 here, number 5. And for each of these 5 likes, we come up with 6 different ideas. That is how we generate 30 different ideas. And of course, this we will be doing it in action in the classes, in the regular classes. But since all of you are here, I would want you to remember the acronym CUP56. That is how you will be generating 30 different ideas for your design exploration program works. All right? Okay, what is the acronym? CUP 56.
Right. Just to recap what we've done today, right? So initially what we've done is we just understood an overview of design. So the session that I took was about the program, right? Why the program? Then Umesh took the concept of design and learning design, right? The impact of design. And then Sean took that and extended it a little further with real examples, all right? And then finally we went into the activity of actually generating ideas, learning how to generate ideas, right? So we hope it was a fun session today. Very important that we get your feedback for this. The feedback will help us understand what your expectation is and whether we are meeting your expectation by the end of the program. Yeah. So looking forward to that. Right. We hope you've learned some skills today with the sketching as well and how to generate the ideas. There's a little book that's been given to y'all, a pink color book. I hope everyone's received a book. If you've not received it, Swati will hand it over. Swati is there. If anyone's not received it, they can hand over. So that book has a little information on creative careers. Very interesting information. You can go through that. And Swati, can you give me one book, please? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So very important here. Yeah, so this is a list of creative careers which has been explained in this book. This is a career path, a very interesting career path which has to be, this career path talks about the subjects you need, how you go and progress right from class 10 up to your master's level, right? So thank you. Once you'll hand the forms over to us, y'all can leave.
I'll start again. My name is Medha. The session was really informative and interactive, and I really got some clarity on design and its future.
I'm mother of Riya Krishnagiri. I felt this session was very helpful. We got to know many things about this. Maybe we got clarified what all we wanted to know about the designing, how it works, why to take this basic foundation course. I mean the processing with this basic course. So it helped us a lot.
My name is Tejas. I came for looking for this program for my daughter. She is in 8th grade, and we found session very engaging, very experience wise. I think it was very engaging, and a lot of new information came out, which I like. It will help my daughter to look at various aspects of design.
My name is Nidhi, and the session was very interactive. They gave various designs to draw in the end of the session, which was very interesting. And they also told us more about the design and what all careers are there of design. So it helped me learn more about it, and I'm willing to join the summer camp. Thank you.